Well, okay. Okay. For those who may not be aware, a lot of people has been having a hard time dealing with what's been going on with Stellar Blade lately. And everybody's been asking my whole opinion about the whole game being launched in its state with the whole new updates that's been coming out that's been nerfing the game. And it's been an outrage. People has been mad. People has been literally furious. It's been so much social media outbursts going on with this game, and I try to stay away from that. I try to look at research, but I don't like to look at responses because a lot of people's responses are a lot similar. So I try to stay away from that so I can build my own critique opinion about the game. I have a problem with the game, and it's honestly, it doesn't have anything to do with the nerfing. This is the reason. That's the reason why I gotta do a video, because there are two things I have a problem with. It's the way how the game is, and just how the pushback is not focused on how the game is, but just how things are being nerfed into the game. First of all, problem number one: people that has been complaining about the games being nerfed, about the blood not being there as promised, how the critique detail of the female costumes of Eve is not as detailed and pushed in when it comes to the revealing aspect of the audience is not into the game or whatever. I do admit it sucks. It's false advertising, and if we would have known it would have been like this, a lot of people wouldn't even have bought it, because we've known that Kim Young-tae would be a part of the whole agenda culture. But this is the reason why I gotta talk about this, because I'm mad about that as well, because I bought the game, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because it's not Kim Young-tae's fault. It's Sony's fault. Sony was the one who decided to make all those nerfs happen. And for those who don't believe that and still think that Kim Young-tae is a fool, you have to understand something, man. Look at the projects that he made beforehand. And I'm gonna make an example of this. When we was announced Stellar Blade and all its featurettes and everything that was promised to us, Kim Young-tae promised us a very good game with no type of woke sensitivity at all, no subliminal messages, no hidden agendas, no rainbow trope flags, no Black Lives Matter bullshit. That was a day one pre-order for me. And I didn't look at any footages until later. When I looked at more footages, that was when I was more hooked in. But Kim Young-tae made a mistake. He should have put it on PC as well. By him putting it on Sony, he should have known that they wasn't gonna allow that shit if he wasn't gonna put no subliminal messages and stuff on there. That's the reason why a lot of modern games like Baldur's Gate, The Last of Us, Uncharted, the list goes on, is allowed those type of blood and gore sexual references, because they're putting things that Sony want them to put into the game. Hey, you putting this in the game? How about you add this onto the game as well? How about you put Sweet Baby Ink into the game as well, so we can, so you put more further adjustments to what you want to put in the game, huh? Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You want more sales? How about we put more things into the game so you can, that's how Sony works. That's how it works. And to put more furtherization to it, this is what probably happened. When the game was being in development and when he put a release there in the game, of course the game had a lot of backlash, but it was because of the whole woke culture was big, was trying to blow the game out from an oblivion. I'm sorry, I just woke up. And normally when it comes to indie companies that is getting so much pushback with modern audiences saying that we don't want this, we don't want that, we want this in the game, we want that in the game, they would normally listen to it and they would be controlled by fear and they would push back. But the reason why Kim Young-tae doubled down is because he already made a game that a lot of artists loved, and that was Miike Goddess of Victory. So here comes Sony, knocking on their door, saying, hey, listen, I looked at the pamphlets, I looked at the numbers, I looked at the sheets of it, the pre-orders looks pretty good, but did you look at the complaints that people are saying? People are interviewing other people saying that this game is looking bad, the character's looking bad, too over-sexualized. You think that this may be good for you and, you know, for this being in our console? This is Kim Young-tae right here. Listen, man, it's all good. People love Mickey Goddess of Victory, and people know how these games are going to be. These games are dying. We don't have a Senran and Kagura game anymore. We don't have all these other good games anymore. I'm pushing the light back. So the reason why we're getting so much hate is because it's filled with so much toxicity in the whole entire generation. So forget what they say. Go look at the numbers of the ratings of the game that people are pre-ordering, and he's right. A lot of people have been pre-ordering the game like crazy, and if not, the deluxe edition. So this is Sony. You know you're right. How about I'll come back to you before the game releases. So a day or two before the game comes out, they come back to Kim. Same thing. Hey Kim, we're looking at the ratings of the game. We're looking at the certain, you know, numbers of the game or whatever. Boost up pretty well. And we even got little advertisements of the video game music videos too to hype up the game or whatever. We're gonna support your game. Oh, I thank you. I appreciate it. But here's the thing. If you want this game to continue, and you think we're gonna allow this to happen, you're gonna have to get rid of some of these aspects. Because first of all, you're not allowing to the whole corporations that we're trying to influence you with. Because this is how everything works. When you try to be solo, when you try to do things on your own, they're gonna give you some fun. They're gonna dig on some things around you. But this is how Sony works, man. They are going to show you certain aspects of how things are with their company and how things are not going to be if you don't abide by their rules. That's why I wasn't surprised that they had to nerf the game. Because by you not putting no LGBTQ on there, not making E gay, not having no Black Lives Matter, not having none of that shit on the game or whatever, you think Sony's going to let you bite the hand that feeds them? Honestly, I would have been surprised if Stellar Blade came out the way it did on the trailers. So they said no. You don't want Sweet Baby Inc. to be in charge. You don't want to put no subliminal messages into the game. You do not want to put no agendas into the game. You don't want to have gay characters. You don't want to have trans characters. You don't want to have ugly women in the game. Then you're gonna have to nerf that game. You're gonna have to, you cannot put no blood and gore in the game. What the hell are you thinking? Well, the game is in for mature, yes, for mature audiences, but at the same time, there's still a level of maturity you can put into a mature title. Do you got your girl running around with her boobs hanging out? Are you fucking kidding me? Nerf it. Nerf it right now. And that's what happened. That's what happened. And people think that it's Kim Young-tae's fault. They put a freaking gun in this nigga's head and told him to nerf everything. To nerf the game. If not, Sony had the power to not let the game come out. They have the power to do that. And the thing is, it's bullshit. I agree. And then when Kim Young-tae made a statement about the whole thing, not even saying it's Sony's fault, he didn't have to. We're smart enough to know what really happened. We know it's Sony. We know all the games that Sony has released, produced, and played a part of when it came to their woke agenda and all the other shit that was forced down our throats. But the thing is, there's so many things that Sony has been trying to put more into our games, and we're literally fighting back now. Take Spider-Man 2 for example. That is not the wokest game of the year, but it's the wokest game out. And certain countries had a problem with that to the point where they had to take some of that woke shit out. And they got the better version. So gamers, I'm here to delay a message. If you are really bothered by this whole thing being nerfed by Sony, go through the 8-step program that every YouTuber is talking about. Number 1, get the physical copy of Stellar Blade so you can further support Kim Young-tae's work. Number 2, cancel your PlayStation Plus subscription. Just cancel it. Now, a lot of people won't do that phase 2. Or just cut the automatic updates off so you don't have to update the game. That's what I did. There's a lot of other steps to it. I have to look into it. The video is raw, so give me some time for me to add more things into the description box. But yeah, it's an unfortunate thing. It's a very, very bad, like this could have been the best week for us gamers, but it's been a very disappointing one. Unfortunately, this has been a very disappointing weekend is what I'm essentially saying for gamers. Now, this is problem number 2. That was me supporting Kim Young-tae. Now this is me about to shoot shots at Kim Young-tae. Now, how is the game itself? I can't really give you a rating of the game because I haven't beat it yet. The game is mediocre. The game is average. Nothing different from Devil May Cry. Nothing different from Bayonetta. Nothing different from Nier Automata. If you played those games, you're like mediocre story. Not really attachment to the characters that much, whatever. What really sinks you in more than anything is the gameplay itself and just the cinematography of just how well done the graphics and the execution of the action is. And that's still not saying much because when I was playing the game, I was going through a lot of impacting issues when it came to me enjoying the gameplay itself. Now, here's the thing, y'all. The game's action, like the game's combat is nice, but it's not fluid. And what I mean by that is that a game like this doesn't just focus on combat and you just using different styles and tricks to maneuver to just to mix up your combat when you fight enemies, but it relies a lot on parrying and counterattacks and dodging. Now, I don't mind that at all, but I am very, very critique with that shit, especially when you want to temper with that shit as well. And when I was doing parrying and doing dodges on the game or whatever, I was having a lot of issues inputting it correctly. And I thought it was me. And I was beginning to get so frustrated to the point where I was dying so much. I kept getting fucked up to the point where I had to take breaks. I had to let my brain rest for a while. And no matter how many times I upgraded Eve and upgraded her skill set or whatever and got more enhancements to her, to her body and everything like that, the results were still the same. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck am I doing wrong? So I looked it up, and Kim Young-tae said that he deliberately put a delay to the block and parrying system just so it can challenge players. And it's like, dude, why the fuck did you do some stupid shit like that? What was you thinking? You want to make the game more challenging? Put a hard mode in there. Put a more challenging mode in there. Put a bloody palace mode in there. You got gamers like me that just want to play the game and enjoy it. Now, for the motherfuckers that's gonna come in here and tell me, especially the ones that do that, that one-hit kill bullshit and just love the game from oblivion, good for you. Good for you. That means that this problem is not on you. It's for people like me. All I'm saying is, I don't mind a hard game. I don't mind a challenging game. But when you want to tamper with the controls, that really brings my piss to a boil, bro.
Now, I don't have a problem with challenge, but when the challenge is based on how fucking crippled the controls are, then fuck it!
Let me stop. See, when I get to this mode, it's hard for me to go back. But people tell me that I have a lot of good, critique advice when I say shit like this, but I'm going to give Kim Young-tae some slack. Because this has been a very stressful week for this game, all the backlash that's going on when it comes to the censorship, but no one can be more hurt than him. Because who loves this game more than the gamers, more than people that's playing it and trying to review the game as much as possible, and trying to support the game and buying the physical and the digital game like myself so I can further go to the cause to go against the whole Sony censorship bullshit? Kim Young-tae. He loves this game more than anybody else. So I can't even imagine how he is feeling when it came to Sony breathing down his neck and going through the pressurized gesture, telling him what to put in the game and what not to put in the game. It's unfortunate. And sadly, I know how that feels, because when I used to make books last year, and then when I made 7 Days Before the Death of Mark O'Gave, the producers of LinkedIn from New England literally threatened me and told me that they can't release the book in their region because it had child cruelty on there, and they wanted me to tone it down. And I told them I'm not doing that. For people to fully understand how ruthless or how sadistic or the full intent of how a character is, you need to see and experience what they're experiencing. Stellar Blade is not a bad game, it's a mediocre game. And without those patches, it would have been a way better game. Without that whole little attack, parry, like delay shit, I would have been having a lot, you know, a lot of. I would have had a better time playing the game. I just do not like that shit at all. I think that's a major thing. Like, people are so mad about the costumes being nerfed. I am so mad about the combat being unfluid like this. Anybody that has played Stellar Blade all the way into the second half of the game, y'all have to agree with me. Y'all have to, and I've seen some streams. I've seen some streams of people playing the game for the first time and they was getting their ass whooped too because of the parrying system was so fucking, it was so fucking lackluster. So don't come up in here and tell me that it's just me. Look at the streamers that played the beginning of the game and just watch how much they be getting hit and they're thinking that there's something wrong with their controller. Kim Young Tae, dude, you should have known better. But that's just my thought about the whole thing. I just want to let the people and the fans know that, listen, I'm not ignoring you. I'm listening to y'all. It's just, you know, I have so much things that I need to do on my channel that I'm way behind of. I got so many reviews I need to catch up on and stuff like that. I was gonna do this after, while I was gonna do my review for Stellar Blade, but I don't know if I'm gonna do a review of Stellar Blade, honestly. I really don't know, because for me to review something, I want to review it in its fullest content without no type of updates, so I can give you my full disclosure. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But other than that, that's it. I'll holler at you guys on the next one.